Hey guys, my name is Nora Franche, and welcome to the podcast Grateful Blessed Mess, daily reflections for those in the 12 steps. I am a fellow 12-stepper and certified mindset coach, and I am here to introduce you to the value of mindset coaching in your 12-step journey. So if you feel like you are stuck in the steps, if you're slipping and sliding with your abstinence, mindset coaching may help you as it did me, and you can find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. These episodes are meant to invite you in to consider the truths of 12-step wisdom and to join in the very real struggle of living them in action. I hope that it feels almost like a mini meeting, and I invite you to contribute your own share on the Grateful Blessed Mess Facebook group to keep the discussion going. My comments are based on my own experience, so feel free to take what you like and leave the rest. But my hope is to encourage you on your own daily 12-step journey. As they say, you cannot stay clean on yesterday's shower. So without further ado, let's begin. We are reading from Daily Reflections, page 181, the reading for June 21st, titled Fear and Faith. The achievement of freedom from fear is a lifetime undertaking, one that can never be wholly completed. When under heavy attack, acute illness, or in other conditions of serious insecurity, we shall all react to this emotion, well or badly, as the case may be. Only the self-deceived will claim perfect freedom from fear, as Bill sees at page 263. Fear has caused suffering when I could have had more faith. There are times when fear suddenly tears me apart, just when I'm experiencing feelings of joy, happiness, and a lightness of heart. Faith and a feeling of self-worth toward a higher power helps me endure tragedy and ecstasy. When I choose to give all my fears over to my higher power, I will be free. Yeah, I think there's a story in the big book, called Freedom from Bondage, I want to say. Maybe one of you go check it out. See if it's like the stories in the back that people have edited and added on their own. See if it's maybe there. Let's see. Fear has caused suffering. Have you heard the term dirty pain? Clean pain and dirty pain. I've come to realize that there are times when we add to our own pain that is not even like it doesn't even like create growth in any way. It's just nasty. It's like pus in the wound. I mean, maybe there's a function to pus, but like there are times when we add to our own pain and it's unnecessary. So when we're upset because of something and then we judge ourselves for being so upset, that is adding to your pain. That is unnecessary pain. You're already in pain, and then you're telling yourself you shouldn't be in pain. And so you're compounding it. So I think that's what unnecessary fear is. It's like fear has a function. Fear is good. And when we're afraid of something that can cause us to be courageous, to rise to the challenge. It can cause us to prepare. It can ignite, that adrenaline rush in us to fight or flight, and we can flee from an area of danger. So it has a purpose, but there are times where it pops up or it exists where it isn't needed or to a degree that is not necessary. And it can be crippling and is the root of many forms of anxiety. And so fear has caused suffering when I could have had more faith. I think of fear here when there are times where it could have been, avoided in a way or cut off or cured. It is because of a lack of faith. And so if you're experiencing something that is hard, but then it gets to a point where it feels debilitating, I think I would wager that 99% of the time, it's because you're adding to your pain. And I know this is just me talking, but this is just based on my own personal experience. I'm starting to become aware, to be more cognizant of when something hard is happening, and then where I step in and make it like so much worse than it needs to be. And the way that I can identify when that's happening is when I go from a point where like something's hard and disappointing to the point of, this is horrible, I can't do this. I can't go on like this, or like I just can't concentrate, or my feet won't move very quickly. I'm identifying that. I'm starting to see that that is when I'm starting to think thoughts or believe lies where um, that aren't true. Like this is never going to get better, or I can't live like this because I'm already living like this. Like I'm living proof of that thought being untrue. um, so little things like that where we have to grow in enough self-awareness to start to be on to ourselves. Not that fear doesn't exist. Fear is good and has a purpose, and it's an emotion for a reason. All emotions are good and serve a purpose. They are neutral. They're information, but there can be a point, just like any vice and virtue, any principle, any value that people live by, where it can be overdone or underdone. In this case, overdoing it can be very limiting and crippling, and can be improved upon with more faith. And another word for faith is trust. And so it's not something that we can just conjure up on our own, but it's something that we can, when we're identifying that, whatever your symptoms are. I said what mine are, when my feet won't move, when I'm starting to speak in these like, things are never going to get better, these despairing phrases, that, there is no solution, when everything just seems terrible and like the end of the line. That's my red flag, that it's time to pray for an increase in faith, that it's time to pray to my higher power, like, please increase in me this virtue of faith and trust, because I'm spiraling, or I'm sliding, or I am so in the negative. And something else that is really helpful is to pray, to ask your higher power for the opposite of whatever it is you're experiencing. So if you're experiencing hopelessness, pray for hope. And if you're experiencing, rage, pray for meekness. And if you're experiencing despair, pray for trust, pray for faith. And even if you are not thinking that it's going to help or anything, it's you working your program, and it's you flexing that trust muscle in a situation where you don't even feel like, where it actually is harder to do than someone who has abundant faith, because it's so hard to overcome that, oh, what's the point? It doesn't even work kind of mentality. And so I think our higher power's ears hear those prayers like a little more quickly. Give it a try and let me know if it works. With that, I pass. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you feel that mindset coaching could help you on your 12-step journey, please feel free to reach out and find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. But more than that, it's important to me to give listeners like yourself a place where you do not need to feel alone on your 12-step journey. And for that reason, I've created a Facebook group. It's called Grateful Blessed Mess. And it's a place where listeners can go to add their own commentary on the share for the day, in addition to my own, and for us just to have a conversation or start a back and forth where people can find support in their 12-step journey. This is not a replacement for 12-step work. This is something outside of the 12 steps. It is simply something that has a heart for the 12 steps and those who are in it. And so, welcome. If you are here, chances are you may also be a bit of a mess. And I hope that you can learn to find some gratitude in the blessings that have come from your messes.